Can Narendra Modi find a way of turning off the Pakistani terror tap? That's the one question that is being asked and debated all across India, and that is what we'll keep our focus on this evening. I want to welcome our guests for our program tonight, starting with our guest from Islamabad, Aziz Ahmad Khan, former High Commissioner of Pakistan to India. With us also for a defense perspective, Admiral Javed Iqbal from Lahore, renowned defense expert, to give us a perspective of how the Congress party is viewing this. Manishankar Iyer, senior member of the Congress party. We've got Ambassador KC Singh. We've got Sushant Sareen, one of India's leading strategic affairs experts. General GD Bakshi joining us. With me in the studio here, we've got G. Parthasarthi and Vivek Kanchu. Thank you all very much for joining us on this broadcast. I want to go across first to the man who's been High Commissioner of Pakistan in India, Aziz Ahmad Khan. And I want to ask you, sir, about the sort of mandate that Nawaz Sharif comes with. Because what Narendra Modi has been saying in the election campaign is that terror and talks cannot go on. If you speak to anybody who's voted for Modi, they will say Nawaz Sharif is more than welcome, but Pakistan needs to turn off the terror tap. So far, Nawaz Sharif, in the period that he's been Premier in this term, hasn't delivered. Can he do now with Modi what he wasn't able to do with Manmohan Singh, sir?
Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is visiting India at the invitation of the newly elected Prime Minister to attend the oath-taking ceremony.
Yes.
It's a ceremonial occasion and also an occasion where the two Prime Ministers will get to know each other, talk to each other and see how to move forward the dialogue process between India and Pakistan. I think it is a bit unfair to confine it to one specific item, and it will be counterproductive to do that. I do not think that Prime Minister-elect Narendra Modi had this in mind when he extended the invitation to all the SAARC heads of state. I think we should take it in a positive spirit and see that this is a moment where a new beginning can be made between the two countries, and the dialogue process which has been going on between India and Pakistan for the last 10 years can be moved forward.
But this is exactly what Narendra Modi said he wouldn't do. This is what he accused Manmohan Singh of doing, Ambassador KC Singh, and this is what he said wouldn't happen if he was in charge. He said, you know, terror is flourishing from Pakistani soil, and the mother and the son, Sonia and Rahul, are eating Hyderabadi biryani with Nawaz Sharif, and he had a problem with that. Will Narendra Modi use this opportunity to send a message to Nawaz Sharif and to Pakistan, or will this just be a photo opportunity, Ambassador Singh?
Well, this is what President Reagan said to Soviet Union during campaigning. This is what Nixon said about China. But when you come into power, the realities are different, because if you have a vision and you want peace, then you moderate your stand and you engage your opponent. And if you're coming from the right, from a conservative party, your ability to moderate and engage is much greater than for a left of center party like Congress to engage, because they get sniped at from the right. So it's a great opportunity. It's a bold move. It's a great opportunity. I was only concerned, I'm still concerned, that too much will be made to hang, as Aziz Saab has said, on just this Indo-Pakistan peg. This is just a way of getting to know each other. Much has changed. In a sense, it has come full circle. Mr. Nawaz Sharif said that he was thrown out of office because he was dealing with India and Mr. Vajpayee. Now you got literally Mr. Vajpayee's successor. BJP has come into power, more powerful, and you have Nawaz Sharif. But much water has flown down the Indus and down the 5 rivers of Punjab since then. Can you resume where they left off? No. Pakistan is much more affected by internal terrorism, by Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Afghanistan is going in a different direction. When they were negotiating that time, Taliban was ruling Afghanistan. So nothing is the same. So you're dealing with many new issues. It's not a question of simply composite dialogue. You pick it up and start off with it. Composite dialogue died many years ago. There are many new issues, water, Afghanistan, which have come on the table.
That's an important point.
I think they need to deconstruct.
Can India and Pakistan just make a new beginning? Admiral Iqbal, at a time when Hafiz Saeed still roams free on the streets of Pakistan, threatens Nawaz Sharif for coming to India, at a time when Dawood Ibrahim is still housed in Pakistan, at a time when no justice has been done in the 2611 case, can Narendra Modi and Nawaz Sharif forget the acrimony of the past and move on? Or is that impossible to achieve till the time Pakistan lives up to the promises it has made to India, sir?
I think I agree with Casey. Both leaders have to show that they are much above than the just mere acrimony. I think now Nawaz Sharif has proved he has taken a big step which Manmohan Singh couldn't take. He was scared that in the forthcoming election Congress will pay a heavy price for that. But I think in spite of a lot of opposition, even today Imran Khan's Jalsa in Faisalabad is very skeptical of Prime Minister's visit. I think Nawaz Sharif has proved that he is a great leader. He has a vision. He wants to bury the hatchet, and he will have to start, for the sake of peace. A new beginning will have to be made. We cannot live, like Russia and America couldn't live their entire life in Cold War. They had to make a new beginning, and this is the time to make a new beginning.
You're saying this is a time for a new beginning? Manishankar Iyer, each time Dr. Manmohan Singh reached out to Pakistan, the opposition said it's a sign of weakness. Now, from a position of strength, Narendra Modi reaching out as somebody who understands foreign affairs really well. Do you accept that this is a diplomatic coup by Narendra Modi? He scored a big goal even before he's got started as Prime Minister. And do you think he can achieve what Manmohan Singh failed to? Mr. Iyer.
I think it would be highly exaggerated to describe this courtesy visit by the Pakistan Prime Minister as a diplomatic coup. That will have to await the result of their conversation and subsequent developments. Yes, I'm very, very glad that the Pakistan Prime Minister is coming to India. I'm sad that did not take place earlier. But I remember the vituperation that was there in the mouths of those who are now behind this invitation at that time. I'm not sure that vituperation has really abated. I also wonder whether Narendra Modi himself will be in a position to change very fundamental positions he's taken without, in effect, a political lobotomy. So I'm glad that Nawaz Sharif is coming. I endorse the Pakistani view, which is really an endorsement of a phrase I used earlier, that we have an uninterrupted and uninterruptible dialogue. But if conditions such as turn off the tap of terrorism are imposed on Pakistan, when the Pakistan Prime Minister is quite incapable of turning off that tap, since so much of the terrorism is directed against him, his people, his government, and his institutions, I think if India does not get away from placing impossible preconditions before starting this uninterrupted and uninterruptible dialogue, it's not really going to get off the floor.
But is it at all an impossible condition?
A big welcome to Nawaz Sharif.
Is it a basic precondition? And I want to go across to General Bakshi for a military view. You're saying asking Pakistan to turn off the terror tap is an impossible precondition. Therefore, the sense that I'm picking up from all the diplomats is they want to let bygones be bygones, make a fresh beginning. At a time when Hafiz Saeed is being funded by Nawaz Sharif's brother, at a time when Dawood Ibrahim is still getting shelter in Pakistan, at a time when justice hasn't been done in 2611, is it possible, General Bakshi, to listen to the diplomats and make a new beginning, or is there too much rancor for that to happen?
Firstly, I think this needs to be seen in the proper context. It is not a bilateral one-on-one visit. It is a multilateral SAARC-oriented visit in which all the 7 leaders of the SAARC nations are coming to join the celebration of democracy in New Delhi. Now, I do not think that anything very major can be discussed at such short notice, or any earth-shaking conclusions can be brought to apart from the optics, apart from the ceremonials. I think we should focus on that, focus on sizing one another up, and as far as we are concerned, we should not let Nawaz Sharif overshadow this visit. Hamid Karzai is equally important to India. The United States troops are withdrawing from Afghanistan. It's in a critical situation. Koirala is equally important to India because of the inroads that China is making into Nepal. So is Rajapaksa important to us. you know, because of the similar reasons. And all the other SAARC leaders are there. I don't think we should belittle them, you know, by this excessive focus on Nawaz Sharif, Nawaz Sharif, Nawaz Sharif. It was a courtesy visit. And
is it just a courtesy visit, Mr. Parthasarathi, or is it much more? Now, what General Bakshi is saying sounds right in principle, but Pakistan is not Nepal, not Sri Lanka. When Nawaz Sharif comes, the focus is bound to be on Pakistan and its Prime Minister.
I'm sorry, but I hold you and the media responsible with this obsession with Pakistan. It is you and the media who ruin our relations with the other 6 members of SAARC by completely excluding them from any coverage when their leaders are here in India. So I would like to say very categorically, this is a get-together of our South Asian neighbors. So I'm quite confident the government will organize it that way. And I would request you to give as much attention to Mr. Koirala and Mr. Karzai as you give to Mr. Sharif. Point number 1. Point number 2, Mr. Sharif is coming here, it's a pretty courageous act. He has serious problems with his military. The problems arise with regard to the Geo News affair, with the killing of, the shooting of Hamid Mir. There are serious differences the military have. There are serious differences about military operations in North Waziristan, where now Imran Khan is challenging him. There are serious differences over the trial of General Musharraf, and it is a tense situation. Don't forget, this is a Prime Minister who has been twice overthrown by military coups. 1993 by General Wahid Kakar, and 1999 by General Pervez Musharraf. That he is doing this is a good step.
No, but just the fact that he's coming, I don't put that
No, just a minute.
Is that enough?
No, I don't know, let me complete.
Yes.
I'm just saying that he is coming here. Let us welcome him, but don't have exaggerated expectations. The time given for this meeting is as much as for other meetings. As has been said, the leaders get to know each other. I'm sure then they will instruct their foreign ministers on how to take things forward. But it is a good beginning.
You're saying it's a good beginning, or this is exactly what Narendra Modi railed against during his election campaign. He said this is Hyderabadi biryani being served all over again.
I entirely agree that the invitation should be, and I underline the word should be, construed in the SAARC context. However, there is a reality of India-Pak relations.
Absolutely.
Public sentiments are involved like they are with no other relationship.
Absolutely.
Maybe in Tamil Nadu with Sri Lanka, but let's face it.
In West Bengal with
yes,
Bangladesh.
but if you take India and Pakistan as a whole, public sentiments are greatly involved in this relationship, and it is a fact, to my mind, much as, if you permit me to differ with you, it is a fact that the media reflects this public sentiment. Now, the challenge before the media managers of the government is to ensure that Mr. Sharif's visit does not overtake or overwhelm what is primarily a national Indian event. I believe that the people of India have given a mandate to Mr. Modi like they have not given in 30 years. 30 years ago, they gave a decisive mandate to Mr. Gandhi, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. 30 years later, they've given this, so it's a national celebration. Now, as far as the dialogue with Mr. Modi is Mr. Modi's dialogue with Mr. Nawaz Sharif is concerned, it's half an hour would set the tone. I don't think we should have any exaggerated
You're saying don't
notions,
have high expectations, but will Modi be able to send a message to Nawaz Sharif? I want to put that question to Sushant Sareen. Will Modi be able to send a firm message to Nawaz Sharif? Or, as we've seen with prime ministers in India in the past, when they come into government, what they've said in opposition gets forgotten and a completely new avatar emerges. Will we see Modi soften up on Pakistan? Because just before this program began, we had a lot of young people in this very studio, and they were saying that Hafiz Saeed and Dawood Ibrahim have to be acted against. Modi cannot go soft on Pakistan.
Well, I don't think this is the case of Modi going soft on Pakistan. And I think your basic premise of your question assumes that Mr. Nawaz Sharif has been called for a dialogue. And as my very senior colleagues have, I think, made it very clear. He has not been called for a dialogue or for talks. Yes, at a certain level, there will be talks between the two prime ministers, just like there will be talks with other heads of state and other heads of government who are going to be here. Now, in those talks, obviously, they'll exchange some notes. They'll probably try, in whatever 15, 20, half an hour they have, they'll probably try and explore if there is some kind of a roadmap or somebody they can designate to take, the next steps forward, if at all that is going to be there. And of course, there will be some messages which will be exchanged and some signals which will be sent. Now, how that whole thing plays out, we'll only get to know when the talks actually take place. But I would agree with what Mr. Parthasarathi is saying, that Nawaz Sharif has taken an extremely courageous decision, and my own theory is that he probably has decided that he is going to come to India regardless of the naysayers in his own country, to give a very strong signal that, number one, he is going to take charge of the country's foreign policy, and that does not mean that he is going to go back on any of the issues which are very dear to Pakistan. Just as that, because Mr. Modi calls Mr. Nawaz Sharif along with the others, does not mean that Mr. Modi is going back.
No, that's an important point. I think all our guests have set up the basis for this debate, saying don't heighten expectations, but I want to look beyond just the half-hour meeting that might happen. And when we come back